Hey everyone, my name is Dave Byers and I'm going to show you how I take a song and find its tempo, add a click track, split it into stems, and then export it for use as backing tracks. So what I've got is my Logic software, and I've got a template set up so that every time I start off I'm ready to roll. But the very important thing that you need to do is at the very top that you have to have your tempo set up for adapt, as you see that I have here. So now I'm going to drag in my file, and it's important that that you align it to the beats. Logic does a pretty good job at this, but I want to bring it there towards the beginning, and I want to find the beginning of a bar, beat 1, for instance, and line that up to beat 1 of any of the bars in Logic. As you see here, it come in pretty nicely, but sometimes you need to drag it a little backwards or forwards. But you'll notice the big spikes in the wave files, which are your heavy hitters, and you listen to the file and just literally find your downbeat. So once you found that, you're good to go. And what I'll do then is import cues. Cues are things like intro, verse, chorus, and that sort of thing. I found these nice cues that I like at a website called worshiptutorials.com, and the website is worshiptutorials.com/clicks-and-cues. I'll put a link to that in the description. Now you'll see here that I've got these cues already into my template, which again is nice. I don't have to keep finding them every time. I've already loaded them and then save that as a template. So I bring that in one bar before the intro happens, so that I'm going to hear intro, click, 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 in a 4/4 song. Of course, I do the same thing with the verse. I go one bar before the verse, and I'll drag in the verse cue. And I continue to do that with things like the chorus, the outro, a bridge, even a breakdown, different things that you can do. I've had build, there's a lot of different cues that they have there, and that are pretty handy. Now here I'm going to use the stem splitter in Logic, which has really come a long way. It was pretty good right from the beginning, but it's really just gotten better with every update. And split the stems, so that will break out a lot of things for you: drums, guitars, keyboards, that sort of thing, vocals. Sadly, it won't split a lead vocal from a background vocal, or a rhythm guitar and a lead guitar. But hopefully that's going to come down the road. So here I'm finding the end of the song. Sometimes there's just some dead space at the end that I don't want, so I'll chop that off, and then I'll fade it out so that there's no pops and no clicks at the end, that sort of thing. And I want to make sure that I've got my MIDI click track ending right where it should, that there's no spillover. It's not too short, it's not too long. Now, what you see me doing here is making a loop. I looped the section where I wanted to start, where I wanted to stop at. And it's vitally important that every stem of your backing track start and end at the same point. That way they're all working together. And then I'll export these stems one at a time, and then I import them into an app called traxx, traxx, and I use that on my iPad to play the tracks. What's nice with that is that you can control the volume. You can even manipulate them even farther if you want. You can mute them when you want to, and for practice, have them all going, but mute them for live use, whether you want the lead vocal or the lead guitar, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with that for practice use as well as for gigging. So anyhow, so that's anyhow, so that's really the top to bottom. It's pretty easy, and once you've done a handful of these, it becomes pretty quick. Every once in a while, what I'll see Logic do though is have some spikes where it drops out or comes in real quick. So you have to kind of play with those, but I would say 95% of them come in pretty easily, like this one does. Sometimes with newer songs, you'll see that the tempo is really spot on all the way across. They may record at 125 and it just doesn't vary. Where you have the problem is with usually the older songs, or a song essentially that they didn't use a click track, or click with. So the click is basically the drummer. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to have its times where it's varying throughout the song. But and Logic does a pretty good job at following that. But it's not perfect. But this sure makes life a lot easier when you're using traxx. This is a great way to set them up and works almost all the time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.